Martin from Touratech again. Our colleague in the background is already working on the suspension. That takes 2 or 3 hours, so he already started. I will join him later for building up the other things. We're talking about the hydroforming skid plate here. Why you need protection on the bike, either with a skid plate or with a crash bar. We can see here on this engine cover, you just drop the bike once, there is a big stone, and if the stone hits directly into this cover, then it breaks. There's a hole in it. It's a very thin material. The result is the oil leaks and the trip is over. This is why we have 2 different versions of the skid plate here. Thilo, you're the expert, the portfolio manager. You also are rider of the old RD07, or have been rider of that. You also were involved into the development and the selection of products for the new Africa Twin. So tell us a little bit about those both.
Skid plates.
Skid plates, yeah.
We decided to have 2 different versions. This is a little bit caused by the DCT version, where we don't have the place to have that massive, huge thing there. So we decided to have a little bit lower here, but nevertheless, there's the same protection from the impact point for both versions. We did it as a hydroforming part. That causes that we can have a really nice shape, a little bit related to the older African Twins with the 3-piece skid plate, and both of them have a 4mm strong aluminum, which is mounted to a connection plate of stainless steel to the engine itself.
Okay, you were mentioning the hydroforming topic. That means the 4mm aluminum is quite stiff, but a little bit softer than normally. That means if there is an impact, it bends. It is supposed to bend, because if it doesn't bend, the whole pressure from the stone, from the impact, is being directed into the frame, which we don't want. But that means it is being absorbed here by the skid plate.
It is being absorbed, as well as it is a little bit divided into a greater area, so that the single impact point is not that hard, and so we protect the mounting points.
You were mentioning the DCT topic, but I don't have a DCT bike. Nevertheless, I was choosing this one. Actually, one of the reasons is because I wanted to have, additionally to a proper skid plate, a special protection for the engine, plus later on the protection for the covers, for the plastics. So this version is not only for the DCT, it's also if I want to use the lower crash bar and the upper crash bar.
So it is. It is also intended to be used together with the lower crash bars that are really rugged construction of thick tubes.
Okay. We have this version here in silver and in black. Of course, I chose the black version. What is the color?
The color is anodized because it's an aluminum surface, so we have the chance to anodize it, which is really a thin but really hard surface that doesn't scratch that fast.
Okay, so we'll mount that in a few minutes. Before that, we'll have a look at the crash bars that are coming with one of those skid plates, so that you can see how they work. Thilo, you have been riding quite intensively, also with the old Africa Twin, also with this one. And we have been already talking about the skid plate, that it's needed to protect the engine underneath. Here we have a crash bar. This is a lower crash bar that perfectly fits to that skid plate. Tell us a little bit about this crash bar.
As all of our crash bars, we are also making these Africa Twin crash bars out of stainless steel, with a tube thickness of at least 2 millimeters. The diameters are a little bit depending on design. Stainless steel has the fortune that you don't have any rusty thing on that. And if you hit the ground by a hard impact, nothing happens to the bike. So we have this done as rugged as we can and as narrow to the bike as we can.
Okay, you were talking about the corrosion on stainless steel parts. Normally we have this shiny silver versions. They are electro-polished. so the surface is very hard, it doesn't scratch that much, and it doesn't corrode, as you said. What is with this?
It is the same, but we don't have another surface. So we have here a black powder coated version. Nevertheless, beneath that, there's a stainless steel.
Okay, of course I use the black version. This one is going on top of this skid plate, more or less. So it's kind of like protecting it here. We have the cover of the engine here. So you say this is more or less like works.
This is how it works, how it looks like, and how it works. So for me, for example, it is always good to have the thing in mind that if I once drop the bike down, I have the security not to damage anything because it's laying on the tube.
Okay, so a stone must be looking pretty weird to after mounting this, damaging the engine. Additionally to this, we'll discuss about the upper crash bar in a second. So this is probably going to protect the engine completely as much as it can. And how about effects of the of shifting or braking? So if I have big feet or boots on, is that interfering into something?
No, the construction is done in that way that you don't have any influence, even if you have boot size 48.
Okay, so hopefully nobody has 49 or 50. Okay, we talk about the upper crash bar later. I think this is going to protect my engine of the Africa Twin, and I can be very relaxed when dropping the bike once or twice.